Hey friends, I'm out on the patio. It is Tuesday afternoon actually, and I'm dressed a little differently today, not in my usual workout clothes because I had a job interview today, you guys. And if you're interested in hearing about how that went, keep watching. So today I went on a job interview. Yesterday I applied on Indeed. I threw my resume out there at a position that I saw that was very interesting to me. So I threw my resume out there, and within 10 minutes I had a response from this organization, and I was very excited. They called me and they said, "We're very interested in your credentials and would like for you to come in for an interview tomorrow between 1 and 2. If this is okay, can you please text back this number to confirm?" And maybe that should have been red flag number one, was texting. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm old school, and if you're texting a potential employer, that just sounds odd to me because I'm used to verbal communication with an employer. I'm not used to the way that people are doing things these days, and they are, texting. I personally don't agree with that, but if this is what this employer is doing, then so be it. So I text back the number and I said, yes, between 1 and 2 on Tuesday is fine. I'm available. So I get a response back that says, your interview, you have been booked for a 1:15 interview. Great, awesome. So after we confirmed the interview time, I then decided to go Google the organization, and I'm looking through, and they had some negative reviews, and I thought, well, I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go to this interview and I'm going to see what they're all about, because I'm not the type of person that is going to judge them based on what other people are saying. So I continued reading the reviews. They weren't great, and a lot of them did specify unprofessionalism, and that kind of worried me. But like I said, I decided I was going to go anyway. I wanted to base my opinions on what I experienced personally. I didn't want to base my opinion on what other people were saying. So I went to this interview this afternoon. I showed up 10 minutes early. I've been all night going over the questions in my head, all the typical interview questions, and I was rehearsing my answers in my head, and I was really, going hard on this, right? Like I wanted to make a good impression, of course, like who doesn't, So I get there about 10 minutes early. I go in, I sit down, and I wait, and it's a mental health clinic. I'm sitting in the waiting room waiting, and then the door opens, and this man comes, and he calls my name and calls me back. And at this point, I'm thinking, like, this is like our introduction stage, right? Like, so when he called my name, I didn't feel like I needed to introduce myself because he knew my name already. So he called my name. So I didn't feel like it was necessary for me to introduce myself, but I did say, "Hello, how are you?" And he turned around and he walked us back to his office. And en route, stopped. He's talking to all these other people. He still hasn't really acknowledged me. So he is stopping and talking to all these other people, along the way. And then we get into his office, and I stand in front of his desk because it's etiquette. So I stood in front of his desk. I didn't sit down yet, and he proceeds to he just put his hand out like that for me to sit down. And so I sat and he sat. You guys, he started eating his lunch. He had a big tray of freaking sandwich in front of him with french fries and sandwich. Like, you couldn't eat your lunch before I got there. Are you kidding me? So this man sits down now. First he didn't even acknowledge me, and now he takes me back to his office, and we're sitting at his office, and now he sits down and he decides that it's time to have lunch. So he's eating his sandwich. He took his first bite, though. He did ask me a question, and he said, "Where have you worked before?" So I'm like, that threw me off. First of all, where have you worked before? This is the way he asked me this question. So I proceed to say, go into my whole spiel that I had in my head already. I'm trying to go into my career and then my background, and I'm trying to tell him about it. He cut me off while he's munching on his sandwich and cleaning his mouth like this. He wasn't even using a napkin. Then he decides to take a drink, and I could hear like the gulping because his sandwich must have been too dry. But then I could hear the gulping, and then he cut me off again, and he has a mouthful of food, and he says, "So," and he's chewing. "So how many therapists were in that office? And I'm like, I don't know, about 8 or 10. So he's not asking me open-ended questions. He's asking me very direct questions, which I have been practicing my open-ended questions all night long, right? And I had them. I was ready for this man to ask me something. And then he said, how much do you want? I really like your credentials. At this point, you guys, I'm just thinking, like, I don't want to work for you. You know, as much as we go into interviews and we're worried about what they're going to think about us, like, I'm telling you, the way I approach an interview is, like, if I'm going to like you as an employer, like, are you going to look out for me? Are you going to, you know, have my best interest in mind? Because I don't think so. You have not asked me about any of my skills, and you vaguely asked me about my experience, and then you cut me off. The only thing that you keep saying is that I like your credentials. So you want to hire someone with the credentials only. You don't care about their skills. You don't care about their experience. You don't care about them personally and what they can bring to your organization except for their credentials. So that threw me off, you guys. Like, even if this man was to call me back and say, I threw him a number. When he asked me how much do you want, I threw him a number that was ridiculous, and I did it on purpose because, like, I don't want you to call me at this point. Even if he did call me after throwing him that ridiculous number because he likes my credentials, I don't even think that I would take that at that point, just because this man has no interest in me as a person and what I can offer his organization besides credentials. That's not the type of organization that I want to work for. Anyway, guys, I just don't understand people today, and the old school work ethic and things like that. Morals and values are just gone in the workforce, and I just don't understand it anymore, I guess. But at the end of the day, I applied for 2 other positions, you guys, that I'm really eager to hear something back from them. But, you know, I mean, who knows? It's a waiting game. So I just have to sit back and wait. With that said, guys, I mean, that was my day. That's how it went. The interview was ridiculous, and it was a waste of both of our time. I don't know why he even did that. If they even called me back and said, I'll give you that ridiculous amount of money that you wanted, I wouldn't even go for it. Just because I don't want to work for an organization like that. So, happy Tuesday, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.